In 1963, a local man in Cappadocia, Turkey, was chasing stray chickens through his basement during a home renovation. Breaking down a wall to catch them, he uncovered a dark, narrow passageway cut directly into the bedrock. Above ground, Cappadocia is already striking. The region is famous for its towering, wind-carved fairy chimneys and pale volcanic valleys. But the tunnel behind the basement wall led to something far more intricate. This cross-section diagram maps the structure he stumbled into. It reveals Derinkuyu, an 18-level metropolis plunging 85 meters down. Looking at this dense web of rooms and tunnels, archaeologists determined the city sheltered up to 20,000 humans, livestock, and food stores simultaneously. Enclosing that many living bodies beneath the earth immediately creates severe biological constraints. The inhabitants had to survive for months on end without starving or suffocating in the dark. This 85-meter descent suggests a level of planning and physical labor that rivals the construction of the surface world's most recognizable monuments. The initial excavations into the soft rock began over 3,000 years ago, likely driven by the ancient Anatolian civilizations of the Hittites and Phrygians. Between the 6th and 10th centuries, Greek-speaking Byzantine Christians dramatically expanded these initial caves, pushing the boundaries of the complex deep into the bedrock. The scale of the excavation is so massive that authors like Erich von Daniken have claimed early humans were incapable of building it, suggesting the city was designed by extraterrestrials to protect humanity from airborne attacks. Attributing this construction to aliens dismisses the brilliance of the actual human engineers, whose verifiable work was born entirely out of desperate necessity. Anatolia sits squarely at the crossroads of empires. For centuries, the local population faced brutal surface warfare and relentless Arab Byzantine raids. They desperately needed a safe place to hide. The region offered one crucial geographic advantage: soft volcanic pumice rock, known as tuff. It is uniquely easy to carve with simple hand tools, yet it hardens upon exposure to air, making it structurally sound. This formation diagram illustrates the concept of subtractive architecture. Instead of stacking materials upward to build a structure, the creators dug downward, creating physical space by actively removing the earth. The pressure of constant surface violence, combined with highly workable geology, forced a completely inverted approach to their urban design. Sealing tens of thousands of people underground introduces a fatal problem: the buildup of toxic carbon dioxide. Without airflow, the population would suffocate in a matter of hours. To supply constant oxygen, builders carved 52 vertical shafts connecting the deepest layers directly to the surface. They relied on the chimney effect. Rising heat from bodies and cooking fires pushed stale air upward, actively sucking fresh oxygen down into the lowest levels. Harnessing natural fluid dynamics, the engineers successfully built an artificial respiratory system for the entire city. To survive a direct siege, the entrances were protected by massive multi-ton circular stone doors. These were engineered to roll across doorways and seal the passages strictly from the inside. The layout itself was a weapon. The corridors were cut intentionally narrow and winding, stripping invading armies of their numerical advantage and forcing them into single-file bottlenecks. Even the deep water wells connecting the floors were deliberately cut off from the surface. This prevented enemies from locating the city's water supply and poisoning it during a prolonged standoff. Every physical countermeasure engineered into the stone proves these builders deeply understood military siege tactics. This map details the specific layouts of the upper levels, revealing a strictly organized vertical zoning system. Stables were kept on the uppermost floors to easily move livestock to the surface, preventing animal odors and gases from sinking into human living areas below. Deeper inside, the mid-levels housed the core domestic industries. Excavations have revealed soot-stained tandoor kitchens, massive storage rooms, oil presses, and vast wineries capable of sustaining the population long-term. At the spiritual heart of the complex, they carved out a massive cruciform church and a large missionary school, identifiable by distinct barrel-vaulted ceilings. These residents maintained a permanent, thriving society, carefully organizing their daily lives to preserve their culture in the dark. Derinkuyu functions as one point in a vast regional network. Tunnels stretching up to 9 kilometers connected to more than 200 other subterranean cities, hidden beneath the Anatolian plains. The final residents did not leave due to an ancient siege. In 1923, a population exchange treaty between Greece and Turkey forced the local Cappadocian Greeks to abandon the region entirely. The entrances to the city were absorbed into the basements of modern homes. Derinkuyu fell entirely silent and was forgotten by the surface world for 40 years. After withstanding centuries of the world's most aggressive ancient empires, the tunnels were permanently emptied by a modern political treaty. The ancient engineers who built this invisible world relied on a deep intuition of physics and sheer willpower, carving a refuge that kept tens of thousands of people alive. For centuries, the city existed in total silence, hidden by the very ground that protected it. Its discovery reminds us that the record of human history extends far deeper than the ruins we find on the surface.